Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back to On Writing. If we haven't met yet, I'm a writing coach, and today we are finally taking a look at a few songs from the Tortured Poets department. When I was listening to it the first go around, I didn't feel like I liked very many of them. There were a lot of them where I was like, oh, okay, I'll skip this song. I'll skip it. I've heard a little bit, I'll skip it. There was one song that I remember going, ooh, I really like this one, and that'll be the last song we look at today. Let me know if any of these are on your list of favorites or what your favorite song was from these albums. Drop it below. I'd love to hear. All right.
I saw in my mind fairy lights through the mist. I kept calm and carried the weight of the rift. Pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away.
So these opening lines in So Long London give us a picture of, or at least give me a picture of a boat coming into dock. What's interesting is fairy lights through the mist. When I first heard that, I thought of a ferry boat, but here it's written fairy, F-A-I-R-Y. So I kind of like that play on words there where you could read it both ways if you're just listening to it versus reading the lyrics. But fairy lights through the mist makes me just think of, if it's a ferry boat, which is how I heard it originally, then it's something that's going to take you to another place. Fairy lights through the mist also just feels very like twinkling and alluring. You can't quite see it clearly because it's through the mist, but you can still get an impression of it. So the feeling there also is like it's not quite all there. That's what I'm getting out of that. I like the idea of I kept calm and carried the weight of the rift, playing on keep calm and carry on. So a rift is like a split between two things. I'm still picturing the ferry boat coming into dock, and there's a distance between the dock and the boat, so that feels like a rift. I don't know if that's the visual she was going for, but I can't get that out of my head. So she says, I pulled him in tighter every time he was drifting away. So there we do get a sense of it was kind of on her shoulders to close the rift. He was always drifting away. Again, I get that boat sense, that boat imagery in my mind. He's drifting away, but she's pulling him tighter every time. So it's like this constant tug of war. It sounds really tiring.
My spine split from carrying us up the hill. Wet through my clothes, weary bones caught the chill.
I really liked that line and how it rhymed and the rhythm of it when I first heard it. So this thing that she's carrying, this relationship, is very heavy, so heavy that it's literally breaking her. Her spine split. She's carrying us up a hill. This almost gives me the picture of, what's that guy? Oh man, I always forget his name. The guy who has to roll the stone up the hill in Greek mythology, and it always rolls back down. Hold please. Sisyphus. I knew it was Sisyphus. Something with a Sisyphus. So this line reminds me of Sisyphus. I don't know if it's a direct allusion to that or not. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus has to roll a boulder up a hill every day, and every day it rolls back down. And so that's like his eternal punishment, is he's constantly rolling it up the hill to no avail. And that's what it kind of reminds me of, because she says, pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away. So there's this constant push and pull. She's carrying them up the hill. It just reminded me of that. But wet through my clothes. So maybe it's raining. Maybe she's really sweaty from trying to carry him up the hill, and her weary bones caught the chill. So it's starting to take its toll, this constant pulling him in tighter, carrying up the hill. Obviously it's split her spine, but now she's getting sick. So it's all this imagery is telling me that it's really taking its toll now.
Stop trying to make him laugh, stop trying to drill the safe.
She stopped trying to make him laugh, stopped trying to drill the safe. Whoa. So if you're drilling into a safe, it's because you don't have the combination, you don't have the key, and so you're trying to open it, but safes are meant to not be able to be opened very easily. And so that just gives me a picture that he's keeping a lot to himself. He's very distant from her. There's a barrier, whether it's because he's drifting away and there's a rift, or because he's got things closed off in a safe. So she's been really trying hard to get through that, to break through that. And the idea of him trying to make him laugh makes me think that maybe there's something going on where he keeps things to himself, he bottles it up, so he's not very joyful or open, and she's been trying to just dig some of that out of him. Yikes. Okay.
Thinking, how much sad did you think I had? Did you think I had in me? Oh, the tragedy.
I find that interesting because it makes me think that he wanted to be with her because he thought she was also as sad as he is. Because he seems sad to me. He's drifting away. He's locked away. She tries to make him laugh and eventually just gives up.
Oh, long London, you find someone.
So I find this line interesting because she's talking about him, but then she says, so long London, you'll find someone. So she's almost replacing his name for London, and it makes me think that just him, we all know who he is. He and this city were so intertwined in her mind that it just became one entity to her. That London came to represent him and he came to represent London. So saying goodbye to him is also saying goodbye to the city and all of that. I also feel like the idea of sadness, mist, weary bones, catching a chill, being wet through your clothes, that just gives me a sense of London too. Not that it's like a sad place, but I know it's known for being overcast quite a lot and just a wet, cold place a lot of the year. So that really seems like it fits well with this description too.
I didn't opt in to be your odd man out. I found at the club she's heard great things about. I left all I knew, you left me at the house by the heath.
Ew. Okay, so this just makes me think that she was all in. She opted in. She was like, I choose this. But she was his odd man out. So almost a sense of like she didn't quite fit in, or he was leaving her out maybe. I found at a club she's heard great things about. That makes me think that there's another lady involved, which is a little scandalous and sad. I left all I knew. You left me at the house by the heath. So that makes me again think that she left everything she knew. She opted in. She chose this. She was all in. And he was not. He kind of left her at a distance, right? She's the odd man out. So she's over there. She's not with the rest of the group. She's at the house by the heath, and he's not because he left her there. So there's a lot of distance language in this and a lot of a sense of they're not on the same page. She's really all in, and he's not.
Stopped CPR after all, it's no use. The spirit was gone, we would never come to. And I'm pissed off you let me give you all that youth for free.
Oh man, there's so much in this song actually. So CPR being what you do when somebody's heart stops beating to try and revive them. She says, after all, it's no use. So again, we get the sense that she's given up. I stopped trying to make you laugh. I stopped something else. I stopped trying to drill the safe. It's no use. So there's just this sense of like heavy, almost resignation around like, okay, this is over. There's no point in trying to revive this or bring life back into it. The spirit was gone. We would never come to. That's the first time I think she said we in this song. She's said us, carrying us up the hill. So there's a sense that she's trying to bring him in closer, but she's also trying to keep the relationship going as well, trying to carry us up the hill. It's no use. We would never come to. So I'm trying to revive this relationship, not just this person. And she says, I'm pissed off you let me give you all that youth for free. That line kind of makes me think he led her to believe that it wouldn't be for free, that if she invested her time in this, she would get something out of it. And I'm guessing that would be like commitment, marriage, long-term, being together. But that's not what happened. And she's angry. The anger makes me think that there was some kind of betrayal there. Like, you let me believe something that then you went back on. Because if it was like, I'm sad that I gave you all this youth for free, that would be different. But she's mad that he let her give him all this youth for free. So, whoa.
For so long, London.
Okay, so I like again that she plays on the so long London line. I'm pissed off that you let me give you all that youth for free for so long, London. So I think that's cool.
Stitches undone, two graves, one gun.
So much is said in just 2 words, and she's very good at doing that. Stitches undone. So stitches are what you do when you have an injury, a cut, something deep, and you have to make sure it heals properly, so you use stitches to close it up. If stitches are undone, that makes me think that what they had originally felt like it was bringing closure and healing to previous wounds. But now those stitches are undone, so that wound is going to be reopened again. That's a lot to say in just 2 words. 2 graves, 1 gun. I think that's super interesting. I stopped this, I stopped this, I stopped this. I'm breaking down from trying to carry this on my own. So 2 graves, 1 gun. I'm killing us both in 1 shot is what it sounds like to me.
And you say I abandoned the ship, but I was going down with it. My white knuckle dying grip, holding tight to your quiet resentment.
Oh, she said, my white knuckle dying grip. So she really is painting that picture for us that she's literally holding tight to this relationship. But what she says is she was holding tight to his quiet resentment. So That's not great. Resentment is such a relationship killer. And if he resented her, I don't know a lot about this relationship, admittedly, but I did hear that like their lifestyles were quite different in that he didn't want to be in the public eye. And obviously she's very much in the public eye. And so I wonder if there was resentment there around like them wanting different things. So she was holding tight to that. And it was quiet resentment. So again, that makes me think that she didn't know what he was really feeling. It was locked in the safe. Ugh, gross. Okay.
My friend said it isn't right to be scared. Every day with love affair. Every breath feels like rarest air. And you're not sure if he wants to be there.
Oh, gross. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, every breath feels like rarest air when you're not sure if he wants to be there. That line, those two lines, every breath when you're not sure if he wants to be there, were two that I really liked when I first heard this because it's just horrible. We just, again, get this constant trial feeling. Like it was just such a trial every day. I'm afraid because I don't know if you actually want to be with me. They were together for like 6 years. This sounds exhausting and so unhealthy. Every breath feels like rare air, the rarest air, meaning like you may not find it again. You may not be able to catch your breath because you're not sure if he wants to be there. Oh, mercy. No.
Just how low did you think I'd go for it? Self-implode for it. Have to go be free.
Ooh, that's interesting. Huh. That almost makes me wonder if it was like he was pushing her away so much that she started trying to find excuses to leave or trying to sabotage the relationship in order to have an out. I don't know.
You swore that you loved me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for the proof. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days.
There it is. You swore that you loved me, but where were the clues? So again, that ties back to what I was thinking earlier of like, she must not have known what he was really thinking. He must have led her to believe one thing when really the another was the truth, like his quiet resentment, whatever was locked in the safe. She died on the altar waiting for the proof. I mean, come on, that's so sad. That's so sad. Ugh. She wanted to get married and she wanted it to be forever. And she died there because there was no proof that he really loved her because he wouldn't commit like that is what I'm guessing. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. So I know blue is a color she uses with this person quite a lot. And that just confirms that like he's sad, right? He had this sadness. He's drifting away. He keeps things to himself. So that confirms to me what I thought originally of like he might be a little bit depressed. And he sacrificed his relationship to that. So he would rather hold that up on a pedestal, his sadness, than really make sure his relationship is thriving, which is really sad.
I'm just getting color back into my face. I'm just mad as hell 'cause I loved this place.
So yeah. Again, love that. I'm mad as hell because I loved this place for so long, London. So I'm just getting color back into my face. I like how that plays with his bluest days. Like he has one color and it's blue. And she's getting color back into her face. That could be multiple colors. Or maybe just pink in her cheeks or something. But she's just mad because she loved this place for so long. They had a good run. A moment of warm sun. That feels very true to London as well. But she says, I'm not the one, which is real sad. Okay, So Long London. This one is, I would say, pretty well written. Let me know what you think about that one. Okay, now we're going to move on to I think the only other one on today's list that's from the main album, the first album. Let's see what you guys think about this one.
This happens once every few lifetimes.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun follow-up to So Long London because I feel like that was her main breakup song. And then this is her like, okay, I'm coming back now. Falling in love again. It's not even this happens once in a lifetime. This happens once every few lifetimes. So it's very, very rare. She does that often. The line that's coming to mind is we're a shot in the darkest dark. Like it's not just a shot in the dark, it's the darkest dark. These chemicals hit me like white wine. White wine would have a different connotation than, say, these chemicals hit me like a shot of whiskey or a shot of tequila or a beer. So white wine feels feels classy. It feels like it would be more relaxing than, say, stimulating. So if the chemicals are hitting her like white wine, I almost imagine it's just making her feel very relaxed. And it kind of matches the vibe of the song as well. That could be influencing why I'm reading it that way.
What if I told you I'm back? The hospital was a drag. Worst sleep that I ever had. I circled you on a map.
So the hospital was a drag. That just makes me think of she had to heal. She had to take time to heal from her last relationship. And it was terrible. It was not a fun experience. It was a drag and the worst sleep she ever had. So it was something that was restless and long. It dragged out. It was not enjoyable. But I'm coming back so strong, she says.
So when I touch down, call the amateurs and cut them from the team. Ditch the clowns, get the crown, baby, I'm the one to be.
So she says, I circled you on a map, and then she says, when I touch down. So I think that's obviously a very cute play on words around, I'm touching down in my plane where I circled you on the map, so I'm coming to see you, but it's also touchdown, like a football reference, which is really cute. So she has a lot of sports imagery in here, call the amateurs, cut them from the team, I'm the one to beat. So that makes me think that all of the other maybe girls who are interested in this guy, like, cut them from the team because the sign on his heart said it's still reserved for me, which is really cute. Then she says, who are we to fight the alchemy? Alchemy is like a fancy old-fashioned way of saying chemistry.
Hey you, what if I told you we're cool? That child's play back in school is forgiven under my rule.
So there's imagery around royalty, like get the crown under my rule, I'm the one to beat. So she's putting herself in a really high place and like she's in charge of this. And that kind of reminds me of when she says, I'm coming back so strong. I'm like I'm in charge now. So I got good for you, girl. This stanza or this verse is interesting. It almost seems like maybe something immature was done or something that seemed childish was done, but she's forgiving it. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I don't know exactly what that refers to, but I'm sure some of you know and can tell me.
These folks on the benches, we've been on a winning streak. He shows that it's heroin, but this time with an E.
I also really liked this line. He jokes that it's heroin, but this time with an E. So that's super cute. And again, kind of gives that imagery of like she's in a high position. She's the queen. She's the one who's ruling over the situation. She's the heroine of the story. So it's a lot of it is all focused on her. Everyone else is amateurs. Everyone else is warming the bench. But the two of them, they've been on a winning streak. So it just says a lot about their dynamic and of course plays with that sport imagery that she's got going through this song.
There was no chance trying to be the greatest in the league. Where's the trophy? He just comes running over me.
I also really liked that line when I first heard it. I thought it was really cute. So this is classic Taylor Swift writing style in terms of just giving us enough details to put the picture together, but really giving us a scene to play out in our minds. So shirts off, your friends lift you up over their heads, beer sticking to the floor. So those really specific images that we can immediately place ourselves in that kind of scene. Cheers are chanted. So they're celebrating, right? People said there was no chance trying to be the greatest in the league. Again, it just plays on perhaps her Bo's legacy in the sports world and his accomplishments there, but also maybe their relationship as well. It's a metaphor for that. There's no chance trying to be the greatest in the league, trying to make this work, trying to make this really great, but they're on a winning streak, both in sport and in love, perhaps. But this line is so cute. Where's the trophy? He just comes running over to me. It's really cute. A lot of her, it's like very centric on her. She's a trophy. She's the one in rule. She has the crown. She's the heroine of the story. So that's one observation I'm making. But he's obviously making her feel very much like the most important thing, which is really sweet, especially when we contrast that to what she felt like in So Long London. Okay, and then she just repeats the rest of that again. So there's not a whole lot in this song, but what is there is very specific, and I just think it's really cute with all the sports metaphors. And those few couplets of lines, the sign on your heart said it's still reserved for me. He jokes that it's heroin, but this time with an E. Where's the trophy? He just comes running over to me. I think it's all those are very cute and very well written. So, okay, that's our second one. What do you guys think about that song? What do you guys think about that relationship? Dish the tea. Are you pro football man or are you anti-football man? Let me know. Okay, now we're getting into some songs from the anthology. Honestly, the majority of the songs that I liked were from the anthology, I think, so.
You shared your secrets within your location. You forgot to turn it off.
those opening lines immediately got me to press the like button. I really liked the movement from general and kind of universal to specific. So she goes, I am someone who until recent events you shared your secrets with. So sharing your secrets with, that's very universal. It's very general. It's not specific. But then she goes, and your location. And so that brings it down into a very specific thing. And I just thought it was very clever. I liked that. You shared your secrets with and your location. You forgot to turn it off. And in that one line, we know already what's going to happen in this song. Like, she's going to see him going into a place that she wished she didn't see. And I just think it's so cool how you can do so much with one line. It's hard. It's extremely hard to do. So anyway, let's just hear that again.
I am someone who until recent events you shared your secrets with, and your location you forgot to turn it off.
It's just so sad too, the way it's sung. Also, the wonderful approximate rhyme between until recent events you shared your secrets with, so recent and secrets, it's great.
And so I watched as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog and pierced new holes in my heart.
So we don't exactly know why this would pierce new holes in her heart, but he's already pierced holes in her heart because she says these holes are new. So there are old holes and new holes now. You forgot to turn it off. So in repeating that because that's really significant.
How you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line.
Again, she's so good at this. She can create a whole picture in so few words, a whole scene playing out in so few words. And I just feel like it's very underrated how difficult that is to do. It's so much easier to over-explain things. I just think being able to see the scene where the song comes on and he jumps up because he loves that song, but the person he's with is too young to know it. She doesn't know the song. Ew, it's just gross. It feels icky. I don't like it. It would pierce new holes in your heart for sure. So what's interesting to me too is she says into some bar called the Black Dog, but she knows this bar because she says, how you don't miss me in the Black Dog. So that makes me think they've been there together before, but maybe not. But how you don't miss me. So what pierces holes in her new heart, I feel like, is realizing that he's still going to their places without her. Or even worse, he's going to their places with someone else. And the same things are happening, but with someone else. It reminds me of Olivia Rodrigo's song, Deja Vu, of like, how can you just do the same things you did with me with someone else? It is like super gross to think about.
It was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming.
But it was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Old habits die screaming. So yeah, it's an old habit to go there. And all of that was woven into their dreamy magic relationship and centered around music, which they made a lot of together. And those habits die screaming. It's a lot to say in one line.
He said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too.
No. This really confirms what I was thinking in So Long London about him presenting one thing to her, telling her, making her, like, convincing her of something that she was like, I'm all in for that, yeah. And then not actually being that at all. Ugh, gross. She says, I move through the world with the heart broken. My longings stay unspoken. I may never open up the way I did for you. That's just really sad. It's really sad. All those best laid plans, you said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too. So again, just that idea that he sort of convinced her of what he thought she needed and then acted that way to convince her that he was the one who could provide what she needed. And he wasn't. And here he is going back to their bar with someone else, which is gross.
Do you hate me? Was it hazing? For a cruel fraternity I pledged.
I don't understand how you don't miss me in the shower and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. That reminds me of So Long London as well. When she said, wet through the clothes, weary bones caught the chill. That's exactly the same idea, just in different words, which is cool. Do you hate me? Was it hazing? For a cruel fraternity I pledged. pledged. That makes me think that she was the odd man out again. Like, he had this tight-knit group of friends, this fraternity he belonged to, but she was on the outside. She tried to pledge and join, but was it just hazing? And I still mean it. Old habits die screaming. So his old habit of going to this bar with the lady he likes is still intact and dies screaming. And she still means it. She's still kind of committed to this. And that's an old habit that dies screaming. So it does not die easily.
6 weeks of breathing clean air, I still miss the smoke. Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke?
So I'm assuming this was written around that many weeks after they broke up, and she's no longer in London where there's the smog and the fog and the mist and the smoke of the smoky bars that they used to go to in the pubs. She's been breathing clean air, so obviously it's better where she's at, but she still misses the smoke. She still misses what was before. Again, because old habits die screaming. She doesn't really want to let it go yet. It sounds like she's thinking back on their relationship and questioning everything now. Was it hazing? Was it a cruel fraternity I pledged? Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke like you're so much better than me? It makes her want to sell her house and set fire to all her clothes, hire a priest to come and exorcise her demons. So really it's like she wants to just purge all of this. So that's everything external that she owns, and then exorcise her demons, clean out everything inside as well. So she really wants a fresh start.
You know this song that was intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming.
So then she gets a little bit vindictive, which, you know, it's understandable. You'd feel this way. But she's basically saying, I hope it's really crappy for you when you're in the Black Dog and she replays that scene again of the song playing and he jumps up. She's like, I hope that's really bad for you. I hope that sucks. And she replaces the word magic with tragic, which is really sad.
Can't believe it, 'cause old habits die scream.
So this song very much feels like it's in the middle of that awkward breakup season where you still love the person. It hasn't been that much time. Obviously, he's still sharing his location with her accidentally, let's say. Maybe it's just a metaphor, but whatever. And so there's still a connection there, even though you're not together anymore. And the old habit of loving this person, like, will go down kicking and screaming because you don't really want to let it go, but you do. You have to, but you don't want to. That's the sense I get in this song of being in that in-between place, which is a horrible, icky place to be. But I think she paints a picture of that pretty well in this one. And now, crossing that one off the list, we arrive at our final song. This song was the only song when I first listened to the album where I thought, ooh, I really like this writing. Not just a couple of lines here or one line there, but throughout the whole song I really liked it. So we'll see if I have the same feeling right now.
Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader, in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids.
Okay, so Peter, obviously a reference to Peter Pan. How do we know that? Because she says my lost fearless leader, and Peter Pan is the leader of the Lost Boys. So right away she's starting with forgive me, Peter. So she's setting the scene already because she's pleading with this person to forgive her for something, we don't know what yet. In closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids. When I first heard it, it reminded me of Narnia. He's preserved in, now we're mixing stories, but he's preserved in this cedar-like closet that she would go into to see him. I don't know. But time works differently in Narnia, but that's getting into a whole different. Maybe there's a cedar closet in Peter Pan, I just don't remember. But anyway, is it something I did? So that's funny because she says forgive me, but then she says, is it something I did? So if you're asking for forgiveness, wouldn't you know whether it's something that you did or not? I don't know.
The goddess of timing once found us beguiling. She said she was trying. Peter, was she lying?
My ribs get the feeling she did. Interesting. I feel like it should say my ribs get the feeling she was lying, but okay. Well, just it's a little nitpicky, but it has to rhyme with is it something I did? So, okay. The goddess of timing once found us beguiling, which implies that she no longer finds us beguiling. She said she was trying. So what is the goddess of timing trying to do? And Peter, was she lying? My ribs get the feeling she did. My ribs get the feeling she was lying. So what was she lying about? Let's see.
I thought it was just goodbye for now.
Okay, so basically in Peter Pan, right, we all kind of know the story probably, but Peter lives in Neverland, and it's a land where you never grow up, and Wendy visits Neverland with Peter, but she eventually goes back home with her brothers, and they grow up. So that's kind of what it's referencing here. Like, I didn't want to come down. I thought it was just goodbye for now. So she didn't think it would be the last time she saw Peter. And of course that ties into what I think she means with the goddess of timing being like, oh, I'll keep these two in time. I'll keep them in sync in a sense. But was she lying?
Promises oceans deep, but never to keep.
So repeating this idea of you said you were going to grow up and come find me. So that was the promise, and maybe that was what the goddess of timing said she was trying to do. She was trying to make sure that they both grew up together and found each other again. But was she lying? And then she repeats it. This is what you said you were going to do. This is what you said you were going to do. Like, it really mattered to her. So she repeats it over and over. Words from the mouths of babes, so meaning words that you said when you were young, when we were both young. Promises that were oceans deep, but never to keep. So we know that he did not keep that promise, which is sad.
Still a mind reader, a natural scene stealer. I've heard great things, Peter, but life was always easier on you.
Taylor Swift likes using references to Peter Pan. She has a Peter Pan reference in Cardigan. I Knew You, trying to change the ending, Peter losing Wendy. So this is obviously a story that plays through her mind quite a lot. Life was always easier on this guy, on good old Peter, than it was on Wendy. Wendy had to go and grow up.
Sometimes it gets me when crossing your jet stream. We both did the best we could do underneath the same moon.
Yeah, if this is a metaphor for her last relationship, it's really sad. Sometimes it gets me when crossing your jet stream. That makes me think, oh, and Peter Pan takes place in London too. Come on, stop. I just realized that. Anyway, I had that thought because when crossing your jet stream, that just makes me think, obviously Peter and Wendy fly to Neverland, but Taylor Swift also flies around the world a lot, and so if she's crossing his jet stream, maybe it's like when she's crossing over the UK or over London, then sometimes it gets to her that they both did the best we could underneath the same moon in different galaxies. So that's kind of interesting because it's the same moon but different galaxies, which really doesn't make sense. But it's kind of similar that it's like being on Earth and in Neverland. It's the same world, but it's actually not. It's two completely different places, but it's still somewhat like in the same reality. I don't know how to describe that, but.
And I didn't wanna hang around.
She didn't want to stay in Neverland where it was almost just like fun all the time or pretend all the time. It wasn't real. It wasn't her life or her home. So we said it was just goodbye for now. Like, you'll grow up and you'll come find me. And that did not happen.
And I won't confess that I waited, but I let the lamp burn as the men masqueraded. I hoped you'd return.
So it's like, I won't say that I was waiting for you, but I was waiting for you because I kept the light on for you, basically. As the men masqueraded, I hoped you'd return. So other people were trying to get her attention, but she was waiting for Peter.
Feet on the ground, tell me all that you've learned, 'cause love's never lost when perspective is earned.
That was the line, one of the lines where I was like, ooh, we like this one. Love's never lost when perspective is earned. Oh, but it still hurts. It still hurts. She wanted him to return with his feet on the ground, you know, having learned the things he needs to learn and have perspective, but that didn't happen.
You said you'd come and get me, but you were 25 and the shelf life of those fantasies is expired.
You said you'd come and get me, but you were 25. So you were still young, and the shelf life of those fantasies has expired. So it's too late, essentially. Too much time has passed. She must be older than 25.
Lost to the Lost Boys chapter of your life. Forgive me, Peter. Please know that I tried.
Lost to the Lost Boys chapter of your life. So those fantasies they had were lost to the time that he spent being a lost boy. Oh man. Forgive me, Peter. Please know that I tried to hold on to the days when you were mine. But the woman who sits by the window has turned out the lights. So now she says, I did leave the lamp burning. I did wait for you. But now I'm a woman. I'm not waiting anymore. And then she just repeats that promise, which makes me think it still haunts her because she literally repeats it over and over. You said you were going to do this and you didn't. You said that you were going to do this, but you didn't. But that's interesting because she's also apologizing in this song and saying, forgive me, I tried. But then it seems like it's more his fault. So, okay, so as I re-listened to that one, I still like it. I don't know if I would put it as my number one. I think I really liked it because it was a literary reference when I first heard it. But I like kind of those allusions that she puts in her songs. So let me know what your top 5 songs were when you first listened, and has that list changed now that you've had some time to listen and listen again? Let me know if there are other songs from this album that you want me to review, and I will see you next time. Happy writing.